Let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
Who are you, Blues fan? We're bleeding blue with you. Let's go Blues! Let's go Blues! Let's go Blues!
And aloha! Welcome to the Blue Note Fan Report. I'm Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan, and this is the program that's by a fan, for the fan, and you got to know all about you, the fan. So, hey, I didn't get a chance to share it in the St. Louis Blues Lounge. If someone could share it there and in a few other groups so we can get more people watching. This is going to be a fun show and an emotional heavy show. I really appreciate everyone who's going to watch and who's been watching. And today I'm not going to be alone. Nope, I've got Lance from the Drop Hockey Podcast. Welcome, Lance. How you doing, my friend?
Hey, Guy. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. This is going to be a real emotional game. The Blues are doing something kind of neat. I like it. I was hoping it wouldn't be as bad as it is, but it is. I'll show here in just a second. They are wearing these jerseys with the number 5 on them during the warmups, which I think is amazing. I love it. I love every aspect of it. Problem here is, well, it's not a problem. They're letting you auction these jerseys away, right? And these are the prices. They're astronomical. I don't even know how updated this is. I bid on, as you can see, I bid on 5 jerseys and I'm losing on all of them. So Parashinko's at $900. Mikula's at $700. Pareko's at $1,000. O'Reilly's at $700. Perron's at $775. Brugg is at $575. Husso's at $450. I forget 26 is Joshua, right?
Mm-hmm.
Walker.
Joshua's 54.
Yeah, Walker's at $550.
Mm-hmm.
Joshua is at $450. I mean, I think it's great because all this money is going to the alumni's fund. I'm sorry, the alumni's fund for St. Louis businesses. We wrote a story about that today. Hopefully you read it, Lance. I thought it was pretty well done. The St. Louis Fan Report is going to donate. We're going to match funds. If you donate because of my article and send me your receipt, I'll match funds up to $500 total. I would like to match everybody's fund. I can't. The 500 is coming out of my pocket, but I'm going to do that for you guys. And then I am going to try and win one of these jerseys. I have a price in mind of how high I will go, but I think so. This auction is going to go on for 5 days. I think it is. Let me get over here to pull it up for 4 days, for basically 5 more days. 4 days after the game start, after the game ends. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. What do you think about this, Lance? Do you think this is a good thing for them to do, or do you think it's not? And there's you can look at this a couple different ways.
Yep.
Right. So yeah, go.
I think it's a great thing. The idea of it is awesome. The idea of it going to the Blues Alumni Organization, and the Blues Alumni Organization, like the article you wrote today, is going to give those funds and other funds to local small businesses. That's all fine and great. I love it. Nothing wrong at all with that. However, I do think with the way they're doing it, it prices out some of the average fans. In all honesty, I mean, really, I know I don't have $700 to bid on one. I don't have $500 to bid on one. I don't know what they started the bidding out on because I only seen it until after they were all about
$250. I got it right in. I got mine right in.
Yeah.
And it was $250.
I would have liked for them to see maybe start at 100, give everybody a small chance, even though you're probably not going to win it as 100, make people feel part of it. I have a feeling most of these are going to go for between $1,200 and $2,000. That's just my opinion.
I'm actually hoping not, because that would price me out.
Yeah, I'm hoping not too, but I just have a feeling there's some people with deep pockets. There are some people with extra income, those that haven't been affected by COVID, those that still have their stimulus money. If they got it, they can afford to take that extra money and put it towards it. And like I said, I don't want to be negative here. I really don't. But I wish that maybe they could have capped it to where, you know, some people that don't have as much money could have afforded it and started it out lower. But I'm not being negative. It's a great thing. I just think sometimes things like these, they
don't go into the hands of the people that really should have them.
They don't go to the hands of the people that sit up in the mezzanine. They end up going to the hands of the people that sit in the club seats, the glass seats, and the lower bowl.
And the sponsors. You know, it goes, this goes to bars. This goes to bars. Yep. This goes to those who look. I have a cap, and yes, I have my stimulus money. I just got it, and that's kind of what I was going to use. But I have a cap, and I'm hoping that I can get one of them. You know, I was hoping at a couple of them, because usually when they have these jerseys, a couple of them sit right around the $500 level.
Yeah, normally,
right?
They do. Yep.
Yeah, and okay, I could get one at that. You know, the amount that I put on, like I put 500 on Tarasenko, and that was gone. And I was winning for a while, and then all of a sudden it just shot through. Yeah. You know, some of these prices just are I'm shocked at them. I mean, Dunn is 27, right? What number's Dunn? I can't.
Dunn is 29.
29. $675, and fans have been on him all season long, right? All season long.
Yeah, and you know what? Those fans that can't afford it, those fans might be able to afford a replica jersey from Adidas and pay $175. Just go out and get you a Plager jersey, you know, that's got his number on it, whether it's the classic one, whether it's the reverse, whether it's a retro reverse. If you want to celebrate Bobby Plager's legacy and you want a jersey of his, it's great if you can afford this. But if you can't, get you another one with number 5 on it.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of with you there. I do wish that there was, you know, and here's the only thing that I think I could kind of hope that they would do is maybe do another night of this and have a second jersey. So that would drive prices down a little bit, because right now these are all one of a kinds. Yep. Right. And at one of a kinds, they're going to shoot up like that. And you know, that's okay. Someone asked who was in net, and it is Bennington in net. That is set. And if you want to know what the lineups are, it's Plager, 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 Plager and Plager on first defense, Plager and Plager on second defense, Plager and Plager on third defense, with Plager in net. Which I absolutely love.
I just got one thing to say. That guy Plager is going to be really worn out.
Yes, he is. And you know what? He wore out our hearts in the best way possible. And I mean, I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean, what he did was, it doesn't even come close to, I can't even explain. You know, what this man meant to the game and to St. Louis. And I absolutely believe that he belongs in the Hall of Fame as a builder. You know, there's some people that absolutely deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. And there's just some things that, you know, it's not what they did on the ice, it's what they did for the ice. And when it comes to him, it's what he did for the ice. Rooster, you ask a good question. You know what? We'll talk about that at the intermissions. Plager's going to score a hat trick with 10 penalty minutes. You know, that would be great, man. That would be absolutely great.
I think you and I talked about a little bit in the post game about my thoughts on what the Blues need to do with the rest of their games, but we can go into that after on this post game.
Yeah, and I do. I think I want to talk a little bit, because this game is, for me, is a local game. So I have to watch the Ducks or NHL 66. And the problem with NHL 66, they don't come on right away during the pregame. So I'm going to miss this pregame. I know it's going to be on. I know it's going to be on the NHL Network, but in order for me to do this, I can't watch the NHL Network at the same time.
Yep.
So if it's coming on, and that's probably why I don't have as many people watching, and that's fine. I understand today. This is all about Bobby and not about views, and it's never. And I mean that, and I've said that before. Not about views, not about reads, not about any of that. It's all about Bobby, and I'm trying to show something here while we're talking. Lance, I want to know from you. I mean, you're an old fan like me, and when you see some of the things that are going on with hockey today, and I got to bring up this negative fact because it got hidden, and the NHL is probably going, and I know how bad that sounds. The Tim Peel, that needs to be talked about, right?
Yeah, and I tell you what, people have told me nuts, and people have called me nuts when I say a ref can have an effect on a game. This proves it, and I've been told by other people in the past, and that's why I've stated this opinion, that refs do call penalties because of a bias against teams, and this proves it. And anybody who thinks it's just Peel, they're sadly mistaken. Sadly mistaken, because these guys are imperfect. They're not perfect. A player cusses them out. A player calls them an F in this and F in that. That guy's going to remember that player, and either he's not going to give them a benefit of a doubt on a call, or he's going to call them for a call that shouldn't have been called. It happens. And the NHL, like I said, we talked about this the other day. After every game, these guys should have to report why they called a certain call, why they didn't make a call, or why they called a goal, why they didn't call goalie interference, why they called goalie interference. It has to be done. They have to put in a system where where they're accountable and fans can see that they're being held accountable. And at the end of a year, if a guy can't explain in a well enough manner why he called stuff and why he didn't call stuff, or if he has a tendency to call stuff against a certain team or a player, it's got to be looked at, and there has to be a decision made whether he moves forward in the NHL as a referee or not. It must be done.
I absolutely, Lance, I could not agree more with that. I could not agree more with there. And what I have up here now, this is Tom Calhoun. He posted this on his Facebook page. He was good friends with Bobby.
Yep.
So this is pretty an emotional day for him. And actually, the interview I did with him, I talked about some of those emotional days, and he talked about right after he became the announcer, they had to do the Barclay, right? So and so he had to deal with that. Oh, they're showing Bobby right now I've got the game up finally, so they're showing Bobby in the locker room. Oh, this is the alumni game, and it looks like this is at Busch Stadium. This is the Winter Classic alumni game. Oh my goodness. Oh, what a great thing. I didn't get to meet the man, unfortunately, and I tried. And I'll tell you what, but I'm going to wait a day or two, and then I'm going to push. I'm going to push for Red Berenson. I'm going to push for Larry Page. I'm going to push for some of the older guys, to have that, to get that that database that we can go back to, and because the Bobby stories are classic, and I love them. I want to continue to hear them. I don't want them to go away. Like I said, just the things that he did. Him pacing the halls after the Dallas game and in Boston, right?
Yep.
That was, and like him stepping on the ice, the tears in his eyes after they won it. And the guys looking for him, right? This was important, not just to them. It was important for him.
Yeah.
And that's, I'm really, I'm trying not to be too, what do you call it? Emotional in that, because it's been, 3 or 4 days now, but this man knew how to play. This man knew what was going on. This man was, when you say bleed blue, I hate to say this, but the highway had blue on it that day.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not, I'm not being anything.
No, I understand what you're saying. You're not saying literally as opposed to him bleeding blue, but you're saying that because of the sorrow and everything that it did. I fully understand what you're saying.
Right. That man truly bled blue. These are just the warm-up. Well, the ones with 5 are just the warm-up jerseys. Yep. I do not know if they're going to wear, I know they'll wear these on Sunday. These are a weekend jersey. Mm-hmm. So I'm guessing they're going to wear the regular Adidas jersey. That one?
Yeah, they are.
For the game jersey. I don't know for a fact, but I do know that's what I'm thinking. And I do know that the powder blues are for Sundays. Mm-hmm. So that's where we're at there. This is this is a hard pregame to do, right? Mm-hmm. We got the Ducks coming up. We've had the Ducks number, but now they've got Zegras and one other guy who, slips my mind at the moment. Mm-hmm. Zegras, if you remember, and I got to know Zegras' game pretty well because I covered the World Juniors when I first started. That was the first thing I covered. And I got to tell you, this kid's impressive. And I thought that the Ducks should have had him up get-go. This kid was more than just impressive. He was Brett Hull 40 years later. Okay, we got to listen to this. This is Scotty Bowman.
Talk about Bobby Plager, the player. Tell us about Bobby as a player.
Bob had a very high IQ. He wasn't a great skater in those days, but he was strong physically, and he came to play every game. And he would play with injuries, the same as his brother Barkley. Bob goes back a long time. He played junior hockey. His brother was playing for me. Barkley was playing for me in Peterborough, and Bob was playing on a Ranger farm team in Guelph, Ontario. I remember one night in Peterborough, the two of them got in a big scrap, a big fight on the ice, the two brothers. It was amazing. I wasn't too happy about it, but I'm sure his mother wasn't either. But after the game, there was a place right beside the arena, and I used to drop in and see what players were in there, and they weren't drinking or eating after the game. And I got in there after the game, and what do? I see both Barkley and Bob at a table together, eating a hamburger, and I just waved to them and said, "You guys staged a phony fight. I know that," but they didn't. Bob and Barkley were so close. They were brothers that had to play against each other, and then I think when they finally on the same team together, in the 67, that was the icing on the cake for both of them.
What do you remember about the hip check specifically? How did he perfect it, and how often did he use it?
Well, Bob was a tough guy that he loved to hip check, and he could catch them with their head down. That was one of his favorite plays. If anybody was in those days, nowadays a lot of players play with their head down, but in those days, if you played with your head down, you got hit, and boy, it would hurt quite a bit.
How did you manage his personality? I mean, he was such a prankster. Even when you would come in town scouting Scotty, he would try to pull pranks on you inside the building when he would come see you, and you would pull pranks on him as well. I used to see that.
Well, I text him quite a bit. I mean, I used to do it as a coach, but then when the Blues were on that big run, and they used to show pictures on the internet of Bob in the office. He couldn't stand watching the game, and he'd be in the office, like Mark, just walking nervously back and forth. I saw a picture on the internet one night, and I sent a text right away. I said, "What's this? You can't even stand watching the game now." I said, "That's the way I was when you were on the ice playing." So that's what I could. Every time I tried to one-up him, he would come back with something,
People ask you, what would you tell them in terms of what a Plager means to the city of St. Louis and what he means to the St. Louis Blues, Scotty?
I would just say to the people of St. Louis, you had a hero that deserved to be a hero, and it was so touching, for all the people that knew Bob when he took the Stanley Cup to the graveside of his older brother. That tells you all about the family, and it's just a tragic loss to all of us because Bob was heart and soul, erstwhile original Blue. Not very many of us left, and it's just so sad what had happened. But I have only great memories of Bob and his family, and he was his young grandson. I hope he can follow in the footsteps of his grandfather.
Well, I don't care if I get if I get another letter from Fox Sports Midwest or not on that one. Yeah, that was so. I mean, to hear Scotty Bowman say that, that just it just personifies what Bobby was. He wasn't just a hockey player. He was a man, a great man, and he fit into the culture of what St. Louis was. He defines what the Blue Note means. Right. And I don't think that that's going to go away. And I talked about, that hole that we got left. I think that the hole's going to be filled, and it's not going to be by one like you talked about. It's going to be by multiple, but it's going to be the foundation that he built. This note is Bobby's note. And I'll tell you the one thing that I think that they could do next year, right here, with Bobby. Right? Mm-hmm. Put his name, Bobby, right there. And for 1 year, just a one-off. But that would be so fitting, because that man did everything he could to personify and create the note. And you're not, I'm so upset at myself that when I was at the game where I was so infatuated with Hull that I forgot about Bobby. And it's so poetic that I wrote that article, that the article came out. Oh, and by the way, I needed to correct you. I did not write the article about the alumni. That was Brock. I want to give credit where credit's due. But we're here at the Blue Note, or at the Fan Report, are really trying to make sure that we do good things for everybody. And that we're not just in this to make a buck, but we're in this to be a stellar business in the community when and if we ever get to the community. Mm-hmm. Right? I may be 4,300 miles away, but it doesn't mean I don't care about that community.
Yeah, and you know what? Him, along with so many other players, love the city of St. Louis, and the great one, Wayne Gretzky. And, some people will say, well, he wasn't a great player and didn't have opportunities after St. Louis, and he couldn't go here and do that, couldn't go there and do that. Wayne Gretzky had the opportunity to do whatever in the heck he wanted to do. He would have retired as a St. Louis Blue. The contract was ready. He had agreed to it. He would have finished his career here, and Mike Keenan just had to say something. And that's what drove Wayne Gretzky out of town. I'm not going to say what was said, because that's between Wayne and Mike Keenan, but it was uncalled for, and the greatest player to ever play the game would have stayed here because of the city of St. Louis, because of Bobby Plager. Wayne only played here, I think, 31 games, if I'm not mistaken.
With counting the playoffs, he had 19. He had 19 regular season games and whatever the playoff games were.
Yeah, it was. I just read it today, and I think it was 31 total. And I know his wife's from here. But after 31 games, he loved the city. I mean, yeah, I'm sure he loved every city he played in. But how many guys can say after 31 games they love the city? You can't know a city really unless the city is that exemplary to where it really makes a mark on you. And when Wayne comes here, Wayne talks about how all the ex-Blues are still here, how they're still in town, and he will always think of St. Louis as a second city. And that's just great. I mean, Bobby stayed here, and Bobby thought of this as his hometown. He wasn't born here, and he didn't start here. He started with the Rangers, and for some stupid reason, and which made, things better for us, the Rangers traded him. I think he played. I think he played less than 30 games with the Rangers. So
he retired with the Rangers.
No, I'm talking about his first stint.
Oh, you're talking about Bobby.
Yeah, I'm talking about his first stint. Yeah.
Yeah.
Before he was traded to the Blues, and if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have gotten to know the type of person Bobby Plager was. And thank you, New York Rangers. In fact, the Rangers put out a statement about him on Twitter, and how much they felt
Basically
about it.
Said that we wish we wouldn't have traded him.
Yeah, because he was the heart and soul of the team. It's like Scotty said, wasn't the greatest skater, but you know what? You've got guys in today's game, and you've got guys for the Blues. They aren't the greatest skater. They aren't the greatest. They don't have the greatest hands. They don't have the greatest vision, but they're good enough, and they have that hard work ethic, which is what Blues fans want to see, which puts them above other guys that are lazy, who have great skills. And that's the type of player Blues fans like. They love Brett Hull, for what he did. And Brett also gave everything, not just his skill, but they love those guys that were, as people say, lunch pail guys. They had good enough skill to be in the NHL, but they weren't going to be great, but they worked hard every night.
Yep. Hey, just real quick, I got to handle a little bit of business where Lance, I just love having you come on, man. I really do. Let me pick'em contest, guys. It's open. We've got about 30 or 22. So we're missing about 10 people. So, hey, make sure you get out there and let them know. Get the pick'em contest in. Get your picks in. I see Marianne's in there. The form is open now. We finally got that fixed. Makes it a lot easier, right, Lance?
Yep, I got in there.
Yep. And here's something for everybody to know. We are sponsored for next month. So because I'm sponsored, there's no password.
Yep.
It is open to everybody, not just the group. I got to make sure I open this up for my sponsor. My sponsor is Forrest Crump Enterprises. They are a construction company. Brian is an absolutely amazing guy. This is how amazing this guy is. They've never advertised before. They've never advertised before. They haven't had to. They're doing this for you, the fans. They like the contest. They want the contest to get better and stronger. That's why they're doing it. And I applaud them for that. I applaud the type of people that will do this. Diamond Dez asks this question for both of you. Do you think they fight 1 second into the game again? Well, the starting lineup is Kyrou, O'Reilly, and Perron with Krug and Falk, so I'd say no.
Yeah, it's a kitschy thing. When you start doing it every game, it loses its meaning. It really does.
Yeah.
And as we've seen the other night, what did it do for the Blues? It did nothing. I think some people like it, and sometimes it works. But for people that think that it makes your team win and gets them going every single time, it doesn't. It has to be done properly and in the right frame of context at the right time. You can't just say, okay, I'm going to go out and fight this guy. I'm going to tell him, hey, let's go after the puck drops like Shin did. It's got to be done at a certain time. And I want to get back to Forrest Crump. If you want to go to their Facebook page, there's all kind of examples of their finished products. You're talking about composite decks, so on and so forth, remodelings, outside patios. They do everything if you're in the Metro East. So please look them up. They got a great Facebook page if you want to know their reputation.
Yep. I will I'm going to get connected to that Facebook page. I had to. Oh, there we go. There's Brian. Hey, Brian, welcome, man. We were just talking about you, my friend. Just talking about you. We're gonna get that connected, and I'm gonna make sure that we show something that they do, every show, and I'm just appreciative of what they're doing. The prize, the Justin Falk nameplate, signed. This is from the Blues auction. So this is legit.
And you know what? You know what? A lot of podcasts, and I hate to say this, are just podcasts to make money, just like a lot of YouTube channels are just out to make money. Guy's podcast is a vlog podcast, and he doesn't do it to make money, but he needs those sponsors to keep it going. If you don't have sponsors, your show doesn't grow and you can't keep it going. But he's picky with his sponsors. He doesn't allow Joe Blow just to come in that's got a bad reputation. So if Guy's touting him, please, by all means, at least look him up and keep him in mind for your summer project. Summer's coming. I mean, do you want that deck built? Do you want some other stuff done? Make sure to keep him in mind. Yeah,
absolutely. Forrest Crump is, I didn't just Go out. I looked them up. I made sure I checked with the Better Business Bureau. I asked Brian. I called him and I asked him questions. I made sure that this was a reputable person that was coming at. And I have couple other companies that I'm working with to do something with that I trust. And, you know, they're not just friends of mine, but they're people that want to help, want us all to succeed. And that's what's important.
Yeah. And can I say one thing?
Shockley, you are in. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I say one thing real quick?
Yeah.
I want people to know that when Guy says a sponsor, for shows like
I gotta
ours,
stop you. They're doing the
Ty, go ahead.
Just like that. Holy jump.
they're doing the memorial for Bobby.
Drops him against Ryan Hartman. And Shin gets a couple of rights and more rights against Hartman. He fights back, and what a start to this one. His 5 minutes for fighting ignited the team as they put in one of the best performances of the year, out shooting the Wild 37-11.
I've got to get going, Guy. We'll talk in between intermission or after the game.
I'll see you at the intermission, my friend. I don't want to take this away from people if they're doing the memorial. So, guys, I'm going to go and let you watch the memorial. I love you all. I'll see you at the intermission. This is Guy, the Wild Blues fan, saying aloha, mahalo, and let's go Blues, as I'm bleeding blue with you.